promoting positivity and inclusivity. You're listening to UnityOnlineRadio.org, the voice of an awakening world.
Explore the mystical side of life in a multi-dimensional way. Welcome to Integrative Mystic with Anne Vivian.
Hello, welcome to Integrative Mystic. I'm your host, Anne Vivian. Let's play in the spaces where the two worlds meet. This show is all about integrating the mystical realms into ourselves, into our lives in a fun and natural way, and watching the magic unfold. I want to invite you to enter a sacred space with me today. Enter that sacred space where the two worlds meet. Just take a deep breath, my friend. You made it. You're here. I'm so honored you're connecting with me. Let's just take another deep breath, ground ourselves, center ourselves, releasing the tension from the day. Connecting with the earth. If you're in your home or you're in your car, you're traveling over the earth, or maybe you're in a skyscraper and you're very far up from the earth, but you can still feel the earth beneath you, and just feel her, feel our Mother Earth. And that connection is so sacred. And feel your own energy, feel your own inner mystic. We all have our own inner mystic. We're all integrative mystics. And if you tune into your inner mystic right now, where do you feel your inner mystic in your body? Your own inner wise person. Where does he or she live in your body? I know for me, it's my heart, and I can feel in the back of my neck, that presence. So let us begin the show now that we are in the spaces where the two worlds meet. So, big announcement, if you haven't heard already, I'm just going to go ahead and start the show with the big announcement. You may have heard rumors, you may already know, but I will make it official. Unity Online Radio is closing the doors to their station permanently April 14th. I'll say it again. This fabulous online radio network, Unity Online Radio, which I joined as a host a week ago, did just make the announcement that they are closing their doors. They are going to end their existence as an online radio station April 14th, which is like 3 weeks away. So I will have 3 more shows before this network closes down. And worry not, I'm going to be moving to a new podcast network. This show will continue. Please stay tuned for details. There will be a continuation of Integrative Mystic, even though Unity Online Radio decided for various reasons. And there is a page on the Unity Online Radio website, unityonlineradio.org. You can click on their main homepage and it'll take you to a page with information about why they made this decision to go ahead and end the station. It was a complex decision. I participated in a meeting with the producer and various staff, fabulous, wonderful, heart-centered folks at Unity Online Radio. And it was a very complex decision, it sounded like, and it just wasn't making sense fiscally and with resources for the Unity as an entity to continue to try and float. So life is filled with transitions and curveballs. You can't make this stuff up. Had I known that Unity was going to close right after I started this radio show, would I have joined? Well, sometimes, always, things happen for a reason. And, I believe what you resist persists, and that it is more effective and more fun to flow with the changes that are outside of your control and focus on what's in your power to change, and focus on letting go and letting God for everything else, or letting Goddess letting spirit, and remembering that everything happens in divine order and divine timing. So I'm so grateful to have started my show here. I am going to have 3 more episodes, and the final episode will be April 12th. And my show will continue in another podcast form. I'm already in contact with a wonderful producer for a podcast network that I think will be a great fit. So that will probably happen, and I will announce more details as I get them. But definitely this show will continue, even though the actual radio station will be ending. And check in for any of your other favorite shows, any of the other wonderful hosts of these wonderful shows with amazing spiritual, practical, empowering content on this network. There are a lot of hosts that are going to be moving their shows to various different platforms. So, check back on the site, check back on your host site. I'll also post things on my Facebook and my webpage, creativepsychestudio.com. You can find me on Facebook, Creative Psyche Studio. Psyche is spelled Psyche. So just want to drop that bomb on the beginning of the show, and please stay in contact with me. Please stay tuned. If you'd like to call the show today, the number is 816-251-3555, 86. Excuse me, I think I said that a little bit backwards. 816-251-3555. So today's show, and you can call in to talk with me. You can call in for a mini intuitive session. Feel free to call in. Today's show, in addition to making the announcement that my show will be going through this death rebirth, and Unity is going through a death rebirth, Unity Online Radio. Today's show, we're going to continue the discussion we started last show, which was my first launching show on this network. And it's a continuation of what it means to be an integrative mystic. You are already an integrative mystic. And today's show, we're going to explore that in more detail. We're going to help you recognize and recall ways you already tap into the mystical realms, ways you already connect with the divine to use for healing, support, and co-creating your reality. And this is going to help you build upon the foundation and expand your connection, the practice of integrating the mystical realms that you already have. Expand this further into your life to create more intentional change and intentional manifestations, because we're already manifesting. We're already using the universal laws without meaning to. So why not use intention and create more of what your soul really wants to create in this life? I'm also going to guide you through a guided visualization, and that's going to help you recall and activate your natural mystical gifts and abilities, and how you may not even be aware of how you're connecting with the divine, how you're connecting with the mystical realms. The divine is expressing in the mundane. Just to clarify my opinion on the matter, the divine is expressing in the earthly, in what might seem the everyday. And the divine is also expressing in what we might call peak experiences or extraordinary experiences or mystical experiences. And the integrated mystic knows that the mystical realm is one dimension, is one way of accessing divinity, and that integration is another form and practice for accessing divinity. That the everyday events and that the everyday experiences that we have are another way of connecting with the divine. So we're going to explore that in today's show, how you're already connecting with the mystical realms and even applying them already to your life for positive change. I'm excited for that. I want to let you know that I'm having a special guest April 5th. That's my friend and colleague, Sivia Gover. And we're going to discuss dreams on that show And I'm so excited to have her. She is a dream expert. She's a dream author. She is a fantastic person and poet and teacher and dreamer. And we're going to discuss dreams on the show. Her program, Dreaming on the Page, which is, I can't wait for her to share that on my show. And we're going to discuss an online workshop we're going to be facilitating April 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's online, and the name of it is The Radiant Dream. And it's really all about working with dreams to enhance your creativity and intuitive insights for enhancing your life. So you can check out my website, Creative Psyche Studio, for more information on that. I just wanted to remind you about who the heck I am. If you're new to my show, I know I just had one show on this network. So just to remind you about who I am and my background. And then we'll pull some cards and I'll share with you the Spirit Helper message for the week ahead. So I'm a clairvoyant, visionary, artist, intuitive coach, counselor, and a writer. And I really use an integrative approach to working with people. I've been reading tarot and working with my own dreams since I was a teenager over 20 years ago. And I've been running self-development groups, including dream circles and manifesting groups and intuitive development circles. Since 2009, I've been running self-development groups and dream circles, and I have degrees in studio art and counseling. And I specialize in intuitive development, psychosynthesis, which is a spiritual form of self-development in psychology, dream work, integrative healing, and spiritual creativity. In college, I was beginning to read tarot professionally, and I really focused on unfolding my natural psychic abilities. I believe we're all psychic. And I had many mystical experiences. I decided to get further training in mental health. And for many years, I focused on my helping skills and understanding psychology, art therapy, holistic models for understanding the psyche. And a few years ago, I came back to connecting with my intuitive, mystical side, and I have developed and am continuing to develop ways of integrating the different realms of my experience and knowledge and how I work with clients. And it's a passion of mine to be able to integrate these different realms in how I work with clients today. I have had many spirit communications and visitations, astral dreams, out-of-body experiences, psychic experiences over the years. And I integrate that with my understanding of metaphysics and my study of metaphysics and the human psyche and human psychology and different wisdom traditions and understanding of the creative process and creative spirituality. And I'm really passionate about helping people connect with their own intuitive and creative wisdom and helping to apply that to their lives to create this positive change and to create amazing expressions of their soul's desires. So if you want more information about me, please visit my website. And if you're in Connecticut, you can check out the groups that I'm doing. I'm doing an intuitive development 4-week series right now online. I have a dream circle and manifesting group coming up in person. And you can check out my website, Creative Psyche Studio, for more information about that. That's happening at the Red Barn. And I think the next one is happening in April. You can check my website for details. I'd like to share with you, I usually tune in to the collective energy, and I'd like to share with you now the energy and messages I'm picking up for the week ahead. And I'm going to start by sharing with you the channeled message I received from an archangel when I meditated before the show. And I have before in my previous show every week tuned in to a spirit helper of the week, which could be any kind of expanded higher consciousness entity, archangel, angel, ascended master, star being, animal spirit, plant spirit, could be any number of expanded consciousness beings. So this week it was an archangel, and The archangel that visited me in my meditation seems so appropriate because we're talking about connecting with the mystical realms today. And Archangel Raziel, Raziel, is an archangel who's associated with esoteric information, with psychic information, experiences, wisdom, with manifestation, with using esoteric principles and other metaphysical principles, mystical knowledge as a way to enhance your life and create the life that you want. And he was the one who showed up today. His name Raziel actually means secret of God. So there's that mystical, secret, mystery vibration to Raziel. So here's the message Raziel channeled through me for this week. And this is for the week ahead of March 22nd, 2022. But it could be whenever you're listening to this recording podcast, this is the right time for you to hear this message. To live life wholly, you must learn to operate in multiple dimensions at once. Learn to stand on your feet, to stand your feet on the ground, but reach your arms to the sky as you connect the hemispheres, the global and galactic spheres of influence that are available to support you and move your projects into fruition. Align yourself with the knowledge that surrounds you by remembering who you are and aligning yourself with that wisdom within. True wisdom is power. Use the different spheres of your mind, your heart, the earth, the other realms, and your own intuitive understanding of where the worlds meet as the foundation for moving into the correct attunement for using these influence for your benefit and for the benefit of others. Excuse me. Needed to hydrate for a minute. Thank you for that beautiful message from Archangel Raziel, talking about connecting the hemispheres of our brain, something I think of, connecting the hemispheres of the earth, connecting the globe and the galactic spheres, the planetary spheres. And we all have these spheres within us. It's an internal universe that's connected with the external. And so I love this guidance for this week ahead of using the space where the worlds meet of all of these spheres, of our mind, of our heart, of the earth, of these expansive planetary spheres, as a way for us to attune to that integrative sweet spot, that integrative vibration. We're using it all. We're combining it all. We're mixing it all in our cauldron and creating our own concoction. I'm going to pull a few cards now for the week ahead. And I like to pull some cards for tuning into the collective energy. You can hear me shuffling them for the week ahead. So this is tuning into the energy that's just swirling around the planet right now. And I'm going to be relaying some angelic, divine, spirit guidance that's coming through. What can help us in the week ahead for the week of March 22nd, 2022? How is your week going, my friend? I wonder if you're experiencing some changes and transitions. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's not just unity. Okay, we've got the Queen of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Page of Swords, and the Nine of Pentacles for the week ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and pull an angel card or two just to enhance this spread. And I'm just, I'm tuning into the collective energy. I feel like collectively there's a lot of emphasis on focusing and clarifying this week. There's a lot of emphasis on understanding the options and narrowing them down to what might make sense with decision making. So I'm tuning into the collective. Sometimes as I tune in, I speak a little bit slower. I'm just tuning into the collective energy. But I feel like there's a lot of competition as well going around in the world. The sun did shift into Aries, so we're in the sun sign of competition. But I feel like there's a general emphasis on competition and also using our information, understanding how to use the different channels of information to make decisions, and using our understanding of perhaps different paradigms and different procedures to help inform us how we want to make our decisions. Be careful. I feel like there is a tendency for us to compare ourselves to others, and competition can be helpful if we can use it as a way to motivate ourselves. But competition can also be kind of dysfunctional and toxic if we're using it in a way that ends up being destructive for our own sense of self-worth. So I feel like there's people feeling perhaps some tension and competition, or even tension with each other, differences with each other. And I feel like there's also a movement on the planet for helping to trying to understand how we can, it's a Queen of Cups energy, how we can find a way to connect even when we're different. And it's a theme that's come up with a lot of my clients this week, actually, how we can find a way to connect with each other when we're so different. And we can, and difference and variety is the spice of life. So that might be a question for you, my friend. How can I connect with other people who think differently than me? And maybe that's globally, maybe that's at work, maybe that's in your friendships, family, or relationships. And if you can find that sweet spot of appreciating the differences, but also finding a way to connect, that's the best of both worlds. Our challenge card is the 10 of Swords, endings, transitions, sometimes feeling a loss. And I feel like our challenge this week collectively is not to get lost in the details and not to get too bogged down. If there's something that does rain on your parade, don't take it too seriously. Don't get lost in those details. And if you hear of news that is upsetting, or you are aware of some hardships that other people are going through, to be sure and be compassionate, but also stay in your lane and not internalize that, and to not magnify. We don't want to magnify the challenges in our life this week. We want to make sure and emphasize the positive too, so that we have a better chance of keeping our mind moving in a helpful direction. Page of Swords is the guidance card. And I feel like this week, again, there's that emphasis. Page of Swords, it's all about clarity and communication and mental energy and clarifying our thoughts. So I feel like the Page of Swords is guiding us, Spirit is guiding us to not take things so seriously this week, and to play around with different ideas, to use your words wisely, even if you're using your imagination and you're looking into different options. Maybe you're looking into different options for work, or how to communicate, or how to make decisions in a relationship, or how to put together a creative project, how to say something that you've been meaning to say. And I feel like the Page of Swords is guiding us to, be really discerning and careful with the words you actually say to other people, but have fun with just playing in your mind different options. And this can help you to arrive at more clarity. And I do feel like we are going to have more clarity this week, more creative ideas. I feel like more energy and mental energy. 9 of Pentacles is our result card. If we can clarify our ideas, if we can play around and not take things too seriously, that can help us have more enjoyment, more pleasure in life, and even help us create abundance. And we ended with an abundance card last week too. So again, this week offers some opportunities for creating prosperity and abundance. And I feel like, this is a good week to enjoy the creations you've already created, enjoy the abundance that you've already created, and enjoy the manifestations you've already co-created and manifested with spirit. So it's a beautiful week for all of these potential things. I've also got some angel cards, truth, purity, and gratitude. A lot of us are tuning into our truth this week. A lot of us are tuning into, and a lot of us are finding our truth by interacting with others. We're finding our own, discovering more our own identity and our own truth, our own inner world by interacting with others, and maybe even interacting with others who share who have very different beliefs, who don't share our same beliefs and paradigms and values and perspectives. And that's the best part of being able to interact with someone that challenges you, right? Is you're able to grow. So I feel like there's a lot of growth potential available. And that gratitude, again, which really goes with the Nine of Pentacles, be sure and practice your attitude of gratitude this week, my friend. Be sure and practice every day, listing what you're grateful for that day on a continual basis, remembering what you're grateful for on a global scale. And of course, this opens the doors to more blessings coming into your life. You have more to be grateful for as you begin to practice your attitude of gratitude and your appreciation practice. And I feel like purity goes with the Page of Swords. Use a lot of discernment at the words that you use. Use a lot of discernment. Like, don't talk before you think. Think before you talk this week. Use a lot of discernment in how you're making decisions, but play around with your creative ideas and your different mental, creative imagination.
You found the most positive place on the internet. Thanks for listening to UnityOnlineRadio.org.
You're listening to Integrative Mystic with Anne Vivian on UnityOnlineRadio.org.
And we're back with Integrative Mystic. I don't know if you heard me. I came in at the wrong time, but this is Anne Vivian. Welcome back to Integrative Mystic. I'm still figuring out the technical intricacies of this show. Thank you for bearing with me. Welcome back. The number to call in is 816-251-3555. If you'd like to call in, speak with me live on the air. We are in the second part of the show. I also apologize. I did not warn you we were going to a break. I somehow missed the music cue, which our sound engineer did a great job of cueing, but somehow, anyway, technical difficulties on my end. And I'm going to own that, but I just want to apologize. It was a little bit of a rocky transition. Moving on. So in the second part of the show, we are going to explore the different ways you may already be connecting with the mystical realms. You are already connecting with the mystical realms, and your intuition and your spiritual practice is already connecting you with these different higher vibrations. I'm going to go over a few different doorways to the mystical, and they're really practices, they're really doorways, they're actions you can take to help you enter an altered state, or that you already naturally enter an altered state, or practices to help you shift your consciousness. That's really what entering an altered state means, just shifting your consciousness into another type of consciousness. So in this instance, we're looking at different practices for connecting with that mystical wisdom. So the first practice or experience I want to share is dreams. Your dreams are a natural phenomenon and a natural process that your psyche goes through, that your biological, physical body goes through every night. And it's a natural way for you to enter an altered state and visit other dimensions every night. We're going to actually discuss this more on April 5th when I have my special guest, Sylvia, on. And we're going to discuss more specifically about dreams and the mystical realms and creativity. But I just want to mention in this show dreams as one way that you can connect with the mystical realms. And you can do this in a number of ways. Dreams allow us to access our own unconscious, and our unconscious provides a doorway to our own feelings and drives. Freud talked a lot about our sex drives and how dreams are a way for us to get in touch with perhaps repressed drives. Carl Jung, his colleague, talked about how it is a great way to understand your drives and your true feelings and fears, but also your intuition, your creativity, your higher consciousness, super consciousness. And in my training and experience, it's also a way to access astral planes, higher consciousness beings, such as angels, star beings, having spirit visitations from other loved ones. It is a natural altered state we enter every night. And if you cultivate your ability, perhaps you've already cultivated your ability, or you're just a natural mystical dreamer, you can cultivate this ability to use this doorway to access all of the things that I mentioned. So do you use dreams, my friend? Do you use dreams already to access your higher consciousness, your inner mystic, to contact your higher self, spirit, God, the angels? Do you receive visitations from loved ones? Do you use your dreams in a way that helps you to make decisions, that helps you to enhance healing? There are practical applications to the mystical energy that you access in your dreams. So dreams are, I wanted to list that as number one because it's so natural. Many people remember their dreams. I'm not going to say most. Most people can cultivate the ability to remember their dreams. And unless you're on heavy medications or drugs or other substances that are interacting with your dream states, you are dreaming even if you don't remember them in the morning. So this can be a great window for connecting with your mystical, intuitive realms. And I'm so excited. We're going to talk in future shows about applying that wisdom. Intuition is another experience, practice, window into the mystical realms. Do you have hunches? Do you get feelings? Do you sense other people's feelings without knowing how you know? Do you sometimes know when someone is going to call you, or you know when a friend is in trouble? Or maybe you have even more advanced intuition and you've seen something before it happens. Perhaps seen something in your mind's eye before it actually happens here on the earth plane. Perhaps you've had visitations from the spirit world. Maybe you use some kind of divination, the I Ching or tarot, runes. Are you connected with your intuition? Most people have had at least one intuitive experience that they can remember, just knowing something without knowing how you know. And it could be as, simple as picking up on someone's feelings without knowing logically how you know that they're feeling this way. That's an empathic kind of intuition. It could be as simple as knowing the right direction to take in your career. That's intuition. It could be, a spirit visitation from an angel. It could be a prophetic vision of a world event that happens in your dreams or in waking states. That's all intuition. That's all your sixth sense, all psychic. And we all have a sixth sense. And this is a great window to develop into the mystical world. I consider it our lifeline to the divine. And it's your natural support and gift and ability for navigating life. It's so hard to navigate life without our connection to the divine. And your intuition, your intuitive imagination, your intuitive intelligence is available as that connection. It's really spirit speaking, spirit communicating. So if you can open your intuition, it provides this higher expanded awareness. You always have that guidance and protection available to you. A lot of my clients ask me, well, how do I tell if it's just anxiety or wishful thinking? How do I know whether to trust it? And currently I am conducting a 4-week series called Integrative Intuition. And my students and I are having a ball exploring such questions. And we are exploring how to figure out the difference between anxiety, wishful thinking, and a true intuition. One of the things I teach my students is to keep a psychic journal, because that is going to teach you, first of all, it's going to prove to you you are intuitive, you are psychic, because you're going to have this list of evidence of all your intuitions and the record follow through of whenever you got a hit, whenever there was a result that showed you really were tapping in. And it's also going to discipline you to understand what it feels like to truly tune into your intuition. Usually you get certain signs and they're very unique and individual. So that's a tool I recommend you use if you'd like to begin to develop your intuition. There's also nature. So do you tune into your intuition? Is that one of the ways you connect with the mystical realms? Is nature a way you connect with the mystical realms? Many people feel a shift in consciousness when they enter nature, when they go outside, and they can feel the mystical energy of nature, of the earth herself, of the plants and the plant spirits, of nature spirits. And this is another beautiful way to connect with mystical energy. It's another practice, connecting with nature, for bringing that mystical energy into your life. And we're going to, as I said, talk about, as I'm going over a few examples of these practices for connecting with the mystical realms, how you can ground them, how you can integrate them. There's a way to integrate your intuition. There's a way to integrate your dream wisdom. There's a way to integrate the nature mysticism into your life. A lot of times that's bringing a little nature into your home. That's finding a way to connect with nature on a daily basis. Creativity is another window to mystical awareness. A lot of people find when they create something musical, visual, written, dancing, movement, when they create something, they tap into that intuitive right side of their brain. They tap into a type of consciousness that is not as activated when we're planning and talking and maybe in our day-to-day state of consciousness. That creativity does, when we do something with our hands or we do something creative that stimulates our imagination, the imagination is a doorway to your intuition, to higher consciousness, to divinity. So do you practice creativity, creative art, writing, music as a way to connect with the mystical realms? A lot of channeling, a lot of creative works involve channeling and expressing higher consciousness, the artist's own higher consciousness, higher self, or that of higher consciousness angels or beings in their creative works. Ritual. Do you use rituals as a way to connect with the divine? Anytime we engage in a ritual, we are activating our unconscious. And as I was stating before, the unconscious is a doorway to these higher vibrations, these higher forms of intelligence and consciousness. When you open the door to your unconscious, you open the door to super consciousness. You can open the door to higher awareness. So anytime you engage in a ritual, you're really calling upon this expanded consciousness, and that's activated in your unconscious mind. and you're calling upon different elemental energies inside you, around you, you're able to focus your mind and consciousness in such a way as to draw on these expanded realms and your own expanded awareness. It's a great way to focus your intent. It's a great way to focus your intention to call upon the divine and to ground the mystical in that beautiful ritual. And I want to talk about rituals more in my show and how you can create your own rituals. You can also use rituals that are community, that are collective, that have already been designed by other people or institutions such as religions or spiritual groups. You can create your own. You can use a combination. And that's a great way of inviting the mystical realms into your life. It's a great way of giving your mind the structure it needs to shift into an altered state in a grounded way. Have you noticed if you practice a ritual, say even just like lighting a candle, if you practice it over and over again, say you light a candle every time you meditate, as you light that candle, you notice that you automatically relax. You automatically have trained your mind, body, spirit to shift into that more relaxed, altered state. So ritual can afford us that opportunity. A few other windows here are prayer, meditation, divination, and even empathy. Connecting with another human being and empathically entering into their world is a sacred way of entering an altered state and connecting with the mystical realms. There's others as well. That's just a beginning. I do realize we've got about 12 minutes left, and I promised to guide you in a creative visualization, a guided meditation for how you already are connecting with the mystical realms, how you already are an integrative mystic, to recognize and recall your mystical windows and gifts. So let's shift right now into that meditation. We've gone over a number of ways that you might already be connecting with the mystical: dreams, intuition, nature, creativity, ritual, prayer, meditation, divination, and empathy. Let's go ahead and start some relaxing music. Take a deep breath with me. I'm not sure if the music is playing. But whether or not it's playing, go ahead and take a few more deep breaths with me. Okay, my sound engineer has informed me the music is playing. I'm going to adjust my microphone next show. Go ahead and just ground and center. Feel your connection with the earth. Feel your breath. Let go of any tension. I want you to imagine any tension is now draining out of your body, through your feet and into the earth where it's recycled. And you're just feeling a wave of relaxation come over you and your whole body. I want you to imagine you see stairs before you, and they're leading up to a door. I want you to go ahead and just climb that flight of stairs. Imagine one step at a time. You're getting closer to the door, and you're at the door. You open the door and see a scene before you of a mystical library. It's a beautiful building. Notice what kind of architecture it has. You know this is a mystical library of your higher self. And it's guarded by the divine, by your angels and spirit guides, by spirit. You can sense them around the building. You can sense them around you. Go ahead and approach this mystical library. You see a spirit guide, or sense your spirit guide, the spirit librarian of this mystical library, greet you at the entrance to the library. And they open the door and invite you in. As you enter the library, your spirit guide, you're now observing, greets you with love. Notice what your spirit guide looks like or feels like. He or she guides you to a card catalog and instructs you to pull out a drawer with a specific few cards that's going to tell you how you're already connecting with the divine. It's going to tell you, it's going to clarify for you what you're already doing to connect with the mystical realms, how you're already connecting with your intuition and with higher consciousness. You go ahead and pull the drawer out that your spirit guide points to and pull out the cards in the card catalog that you're guided to pull out. Pull out 3 cards. Maybe you pulled out more or less. But look at the cards you pulled out. There's going to be information on each of them about how you're already connecting with the mystical realms. Look at the first one and allow your spirit guide to explain to you what the symbols or words mean. You can go ahead and look at the second card, which is also containing words, images, feelings, information about how you're already connecting with the mystical. There's no right or wrong answer, and allow your spirit guide to explain to you what it means. Finally, take a look at your third card. What sense do you get? What images, words, information do you see on this card about how you're already connecting with the divine? Your spirit guide explains a little bit more. And finally, your guide now shows you one last card, pointing to one last card in the drawer that's going to instruct you on how you can increase your connection with the mystical, how you can expand the ways you connect with the mystical realms. Go ahead and pull that card out. And what images, information do you see on this card about how to connect more with the mystical realms? Maybe it's a new practice. Maybe it's expanding the practices you're already using. And go ahead and thank your spirit guide for directing you in this journey. You walk to the front of the library with your guide. You say goodbye to your spirit guide. With thanks and gratitude, you walk back to the top of the stairs entrance, remembering all the information that you received today, knowing you will remember the most important elements of this guided meditation. You turn back down to the flight of stairs, walking down the stairs one at a time, taking some deep breaths, feeling yourself come back to your body, feeling yourself laying down or sitting down, being supported by what you're sitting or laying on. Let's take another deep breath. Feel yourself come back to your heart center, allowing those images to fade. What did you receive in that meditation, my friend? What guidance and insight did you receive from Spirit? Did you realize that you're already connecting with the mystical, that you're already an integrative mystic in a number of ways, maybe even more ways than you realize? Did you realize there's so many more ways that you want to connect? Did you get intuitive guidance about how to increase this, the ways that your spirit wants to increase this connection? Remember to acknowledge how you're already doing so much, how you're already connecting in so many ways. You've already put effort into your spiritual practice. You've already put energy, and you also have natural ways. You're not even trying to connect with the mystical that are coming through your life. Listening to this station is one. We're coming to the end of the show. I want to thank you again so much for tuning in, and stick with me. Next week, we're going to explore more our beliefs and assumptions related to being an integrative mystic and how we can take a look at those and reprogram to help us become even more powerful integrative mystic. You can visit my website for more information, creativepsychestudio.com. And I want to thank you again so much for tuning in. This show will continue after Unity Online Radio closes its doors, so please stay tuned for more announcements with that. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed week, and I look forward to connecting with you next show.
Thank you for listening. This is Unity Online Radio, the voice of an awakening world.